Your context, your assessment of this Attorney General. Listen.
Investigation.
Well, I think the whole thing that the Attorney General is involved in is highly unusual. Ordering an investigation of our intelligence and law enforcement agencies when there was already an investigation underway by the Inspector General. So I think that's a kind of a threshold matter. And then to see how the President is now involved in trying to help the Attorney General in that effort gives me pause. I think the Attorney General needs to be a little more sensitive to the appearance that gives. You have to not only be substantively neutral, you have to appear to be neutral when you are the Attorney General of the United States. And I fear that he has crossed a political line.
Justice Department officials have said that this is kind of standard operating procedure, is that you would have the President kind of set up these conversations so that the Attorney General is not going in there blind, and that they already have those base level conversations to know this is what we're looking for, what's going on for that cooperation. Is that not the case, that is kind of the standard way that things work?
I wouldn't say it was standard, but I wouldn't say that it was unprecedented. But involving the President in a Justice Department investigation is something that would be reserved really for only the most important investigations that the Justice Department would do, usually those that had a direct impact on the national security. More often than not, the contacts with other governments goes from Attorney General to the Attorney General's counterpart in the other country. Don't involve heads of state in these matters unless the consequences are really significant.
And I think the Trump administration argues that they are, and that's the basis for why this is so important, is to be able to investigate that. Do you feel that's the case, though?
Well, again, the question I have for this new investigation is, what does it do that the Inspector General wasn't already doing? It seems to me that this is duplicative in a lot of ways, and I think kind of unnecessary. But, the Attorney General has made that determination, and I think has done so, is paying a price for it, both in terms of questioning whether or not he is acting as the President's lawyer as opposed to the Attorney General, and then it has a negative impact, I think, on the Justice Department as well.
In the long term, that's a concern I know you've mentioned. The long-term impact that has on the reputation.
Yeah, I think when the people look at the Justice Department, people in this country look at the Justice Department and think that it is in some ways politicized, that has a negative long-term impact on the department. FBI agents have to testify in trials all around this country, and to the extent that a person looks at an FBI agent and thinks that the FBI agent serves in a politicized agency, that can make a person, a juror, for instance, maybe think that this FBI agent is not telling the truth in a way that we traditionally have.
Do you think it's reasonable to invest